Alright, lovely people, how are we doing? Just chilling out in the back of my van for no real reason. So as you know, I am a biker. I love everything to do with bikes. That's why I do this stuff. I mean, you probably love bikes because it's the only reason you'll be watching this channel. I am a biker who owns some big, loud, aggressive bikes, like my 990. All of my bikes that I own in my household are combustion engine. I stick some fuel in, I turn some dinosaurs into noise and go for a spin. But unless you live under a rock, you will have noticed that the world is going electric. Now, I've never had any exposure to electric bikes other than seeing some at like the NEC or at some sort of show. One day I went down a YouTube hole and I did a bit of research, and it turns out it's quite an interesting market. So I decided I wanted to know a little bit more. So I contacted a company and said, "Hi, this is me, I make videos, any chance I can come and have a look at your bikes?" And they said, yes. And that company is the English Electric Motor Co. And yeah, like I said, they've said, "Come along, Ollie, come and ride some bikes." And it looks like there's a fair few bikes to have a spin on. This is all very exciting, but I did have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive here. Whew, the things I do for YouTube, eh? I'm only playing, I think that made me sound grumpy. I'm more than happy to be here. What I'm not happy about is, I'm not convinced about this haircut, but let's go and have a look in the shop. This place is fucking cool, isn't it? My sort of shop. The English Electric Motor Co is based in a little place called Diss in Suffolkshire, and as you've probably guessed, the team here specialise in electric motorcycles. They offer a full range of bikes, one of the major brands being Zero shown here, and a lot of other services that we'll talk about later. The shop itself is very trendy and hip, as you'd expect in this electric and techie world, with a load of funky signs around the place which appealed to my inner magpie, especially this one. I needed a lot of coffee today, and they even had an electric Hoover. Yep, this electric technology knows no bounds. English Electric isn't just about the sales though. If you sneak your way past the staff only and danger signs, you'll find yourself in workshop and fabrication. They first started as Old Empire Motorcycles, which was a custom motorcycle shop. So when it comes to spanner and bikes, I think it's fair to say that this lot know what they're doing. More to come on that later. First things first, I had to go and sign the guest book with something witty. Ollie Moto was here, Y2K plus 22. We're about to do an interview in very loose terms. We're just trying to get some sort of EEMC logo onto this screen.
But there's nothing on YouTube.
But there's nothing on YouTube
at all.
So we're failing at the first hurdle here.
Themes, but no.
There's you. Look, there's a picture of you.
No, I don't want to double me.
Just stand by, viewers. We'll get there.
Ready to rock and roll?
We gave up on the screen.
Screen's no good. Yeah. Couldn't find a single English Electric logo online.
And there's also, obviously, kind of now as we turn it off, there's normally good tunes kicking off in here. But I've been very demanding as the filmmaker and said, right, turn everything off.
Yeah, you've ruined the atmosphere.
Crack the whip, ruin the atmosphere. Right. So the first question, then, I suppose for everyone to know is, well, who are you and why electric? Why are you doing this sort of stuff?
So. My name's Alec Sharp and I run English Electric Motor Co alongside the guys I work with. We're an all-electric dealership, started around 4 years ago now. Prior to that, we ran a company called Old Empire Motorcycles, which specialised in custom motorcycles, and then we made a move into electric. We're kind of a multi-franchise dealership, so we have best part of, I think, maybe 10 brands, I think. We also import and distribute some brands, or Energica specifically at the moment, but we've got other guys sort of we're working on at the moment, looking at bringing in. And yeah, we're just 100% electric specialists, so we do sale of new bikes, sales of new bikes and used bikes as well now. Servicing, mobile servicing, so we go around the whole of the UK. We've got a dedicated van for doing servicing. We operate off-road and on-road, so we've got an off-road track that we're building outside specifically for electric, that is called Dirty Tracks, that we're slowly getting there, and that will be operational as a place for people to come and try electric out for the first time, or bring their own electric and use as well. Yeah, and I think that's probably about it in a summary.
It's a mega company though. I mean, we were chatting earlier, and yeah, you've got all bases covered as far as I'm concerned. All different types, all different types of bike. My question is, how does a man who builds custom motorcycles for Old Empire, what made you go, I build custom bikes with engines full of fuel and oil, and now I want to be an electric guy?
It was never really a definitive, like, this is what I was doing and this is what I'm now going to do. All it was it was right time, right place, I guess. So we'd run Old Empire for, like, I think maybe 5 years up to that point. Me and my business partner then, we'd had a really good run. We kind of hit it when this kind of the hipster scene really took off. Yeah. So, like, very bike shared. So we were at the first bike shared, and part of that big sort of crowd.
Yeah, yeah. Is that why you've got the lovely long hair?
No, I didn't have that then.
Especially for this.
No,
company.
I didn't actually. Yeah, I was kind of like almost an anti-hipster then, because we were like well out of the way, in the middle of the back and beyond of Suffolk. We used to have to go into the scene in London, but it was all tied in really nicely with what we were making, and so it was a viable business, albeit sort of we did it less for money and more for the love of what we were doing. And then that kind of, I got to, I guess, I mean, I'm now 34, I think. Yeah, 34. So I was doing it in my early to mid 20s, but then as I got older, I realised maybe I needed something a little bit more secure, and it just tied in with trying electric. It was a Zero about 5 years ago. A Zero were just coming back to the UK market. They had like 3 dealers, and I just happened to have a go, having no real interest in the idea of electric, and it just blew me away. The whole experience completely changed my mindset on what electric was and could be, and I realised that this is something that I believed a lot of other people could really be interested in if they had the opportunity to try.
So I know this is going to be a very big question, but let's try and keep this bit short.
Condensed.
Yeah. What makes an electric bike better than a combustion bike? And I know you're going to say, well, it's not necessarily better, but what are the better bits of electric?
Yeah, so the pros, the definite pros over combustion. There's a definite cost, like efficiency side of things that weighs a lot in electric's favour. Okay, it's more money on the outset, but you can offset that against certain leasing packages and stuff. So very quickly, we've got a lot of guys that what they were spending on fuel monthly covers the entirety of the cost of a monthly cost of having an electric motorcycle. So that fuel cost of £200 a month, we've got people paying for bikes or train tickets or whatever, that will pay for the monthly fee for an entire motorcycle for a 3-year lease, let's say, and the actual running cost of it's pretty much a yearly check over, tyres, brake pads, that sort of thing, and obviously electricity, which up until recently was
let's ignore what's going on right now, but
it still is far more cost effective than fuel, but it's just less. I think ease of the actual riding experience. So no clutch, no gears, very very smooth. It's far more approachable for new people riding, and but also in terms, not because it's easy to ride, but certainly just what it is seems to be far more approachable to sort of the female demographic as well. We see as well, which is really positive because as you probably know, the motorcycle market is dominated by the male. So for seeing different segments, not just females but also younger riders as well. They're looking at electric going, this is different, cool, something maybe I could be interested in. There's no stereotypes with electric. You can stereotype Harley riders, BMW riders, things. You go, electric riders, no, I don't.
Well, especially when you walk around here, you've got every type of bike. So
exactly, yeah. You can't. It's difficult to stereotype that, so people don't feel apprehensive about, well, if I buy a Harley, I'm going to have to wear a big leather jacket, have a beard, and all that.
Now and got a beard.
Exactly. If I buy a GS ride, I've got to have everything GS and all that side of things.
And go to Starbucks.
So it's that's kind of cool. And then so cost, the kind of its appeal. And then obviously performance-wise is this level of acceleration, this torque that you don't get with, some of our smallest bikes that you can ride on a CBT are going to be the equivalent of like, a 1,000cc race bike. In terms of torque delivery, it might not be, it's 0 to 60s be as quite as fast, but I can guarantee you it's the most manageable acceleration ferocious acceleration that you've ever tried. You know, it's just easy speed. You know, on even like an FXE 11 kilowatt, that's something you can ride on CVT. I mean, that'll keep up with a 600, you know, sports bike off the line. So I think, yeah, that's, you know, that's as condensed as I can get it. I'd probably say there's a lot I can go into, but yeah, that's probably the 3 points I would touch upon.
The whole point of this video is the whole point of me being is to learn about this sort of stuff a bit more myself and go for a spin, which I'm looking forward to, especially now you've just told me that the talk delivery is immense. That should be good fun.
Yeah.
So shall we, if you're happy, I've got some more questions, but I think we'll wait till later for them.
Yeah.
Shall we go for a stroll around and you can, because I know there's loads of different manufacturers here, so we'll have a look around and you can educate me, educate the camera.
On what's what? Yeah, sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Sweet.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we like this. We like people. You're on camera now. You're being filmed. This is Nathan. Nathan, say hello to the camera.
Say hello, Nathan. Hello. Yeah, Nathan's head tech.
Head tech.
Yeah, I used to do all that stuff, and then Nathan's better at it than me, so now Nathan does it. Do you want to get Ollie whilst he's in there?
Yeah, sweet. So we get the other Ollie. Come on, Ollie. We need to get you on camera.
Hello. Ollie is the face of English Electric.
He's filming.
I am filming, yeah.
Oh, right.
I'm not just sitting here with a camera, mate. That's turned off.
So, if I give you a brief rundown, as brief as I can be concerning a rundown in terms of what we've got, phone timed itself perfectly.
That's fine. It's fine. It's all natural.
And so this is our showroom. Condensed. In terms of this section, it's just a standard, I guess, multi-franchise dealership. In terms of brands-wise, the biggest brands being Zero and Energica. Energica we bring into the UK ourselves. They're handmade Italian electric superbike made in Modena. They will be the last year, this year, of Moto E. They're the, what's it called, sole manufacturer.
Can you elaborate just for people watching?
Yeah, so
Moto E.
Moto E is electric MotoGP, basically.
Last lap time and Granado in second from the World Cup leader.
They've been doing it the last 4 years, maybe longer.
2019, I think it's
2019, there you go, you know more than me.
I know a few stats.
And so that will finish in 2020, this is the last year, and then Ducati take over. But they are pretty much the most premium electric motorcycles. We've got the biggest battery, the fastest charging. I'll go through some specs with you when you get around to riding it. We have Zero, who are kind of probably one of our core brand, the guys we started off with, American made in California. They've got quite a big range of bikes, all the way from kind of smaller commuter bikes all the way up to, they're knocking on the door of Energica pretty much. They're like price point wise, they're starting from anywhere like 12 grand up to like 20 something. Energica start at like 25 upwards, so you know there's kind of a nice progression there. And then beneath that we have, this is all on road stuff, we have like Super Socos and stuff which are outside actually.
We can walk and talk.
You got that?
Yeah.
Right, let's go outside. Very little used stuff. Oh no, the wind's getting up.
That's fine. We'll hide behind something.
This is our little courtyardy bit where we've got, this is all our demos, so you can see, hence talking about demo heavy, you can see how many demos we've got. So Super Socos we're talking about. Some of these are customised, so Super Soco, and they are like, they start about anywhere from like 2 grand up to say 5 or 6. It's sort of a far more, should have brought my cap out, far more kind of entry level bike, 125, that sort of thing. They would be the bikes we've got a lot of people starting off with, removable battery as well, and then you'd move up to something like the Zeros, but like the 11 kilowatts, so you can have them on a CVT. So that's we're seeing a progression from something like that to that, and then obviously, you know, if you want to, you can go up to the bigger Zeros like the SRFs here, SRS, which is that grey one over there, and then and obviously up to the Energicas, which are here as well. And then we do have some lower end stuff, like some more specific. So Niu, we do scooters. We don't do a huge amount of scooters just because of where we live. But we do, you know, Niu are probably the best electric scooters on the market we've found. The Super Soco's already spoken about. They're the best kind of entry-level motorbike. Then off-road, we have Surron and Talaria. So these are like a step above an electric mountain bike. 4 or 5 grand ish, 45 mile an hour de-restricted, you know, rapid removable batteries, you know, full mountain bike suspension. And these do road legal variations of them as well. So that's Talaria and Surron. We sell quite a few of those. And then Ubco. which is a New Zealand brand, which is two-wheel drive, which is kind of odd. So there's no actual drive line, there's no belt or chain. It's just literally the wheels are the motors, kind of like the Tesla setup, and that's more of a utility bike. So that's to be used agriculture, that sort of thing. That bike's not particularly exciting to ride, but in terms of stability and just crawling through stuff, it's incredible. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all of the bikes that we've got here, and then our track's out there, but I'm sure you'll get some more bits and bobs on that. Anyway.
Sounds good to me. Well, I think we've done a lot of talking about bikes.
You want to go ride?
Yeah,
go for a ride.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, that's the next thing. Right.
We're just debating what bike to start on. On-road, off-road?
I don't know. How are you off-road?
Pretty good.
Modest as well.
What's going to happen is Alec's going to tell me about the bikes. I'm going to do my best to retain it, tell you a bit about the bikes, and then we'll just run through them. I thought I was coming in just to have a go on one bike, but it turns out I'm getting spoiled and going for a spin on a few of them. So let's get this show on the road, quite literally.
Let's get you sorted out.
Yeah, man. Now, obviously, as the off-road hero that I am, hero in very, very loose terms, almost non-heroic. I don't know what bike I'm getting first. It's up to Alec. We've just chatted about off-road. He says he's got a plan. So I'm getting into all my off-road gear, body armour, big boots, all the rest of it. Let's see what he delivers.
It's fully off-road electric scooter.
Is this? I'm just going to take these off. Is this the first bike you're trusting me with?
This is just to get you going. This is a warm-up.
Right.
And then
Okay.
everything else.
Well, I've got to stay dressed like this now. Okay, right.
Yeah, that is the attire to ride this in.
Well, thanks, mate. I'll take this for a spin. See how we get on.
There you go.
This is ridiculous. I'm excited about giving electric a go, but I'm not in the right gear for this bike. I haven't ridden a scooter for years either. Look at this. Put the side stand up. Right, electric. What did he say to me? How do these things work? So, click that. Ready. I'll just go. Oh, I just go. And off he goes. Well, this is weird. There's no engine noise. Where's my engine noise? Now, I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be like a child, but I am a bit giddy right now because I'm quite excited about riding all these electric bikes. It's just a shame that it's raining first thing in the morning. Is that a brake? Yeah, that one. Of course, it's a brake, Ollie. It's not going to be a clutch, is it? Right. I was told just keep going left. So let's go this way. I don't know what you can hear because I haven't got any earplugs in and all I can hear is wind. There's obviously no electric, there's obviously no engine noise going on. Okay, let's take this out onto the open roads. There's a nice duck pond there, that's lovely, isn't it? He said go left, let's go left. Full power! I don't know what I look like right now. I'm on a scooter that's silent in full off-road gear. And I mean, I've got goggles and everything on. And I'm about to go on a big main road. Let's go! I mean, it's actually quite fun, but I must look like such an idiot right now. Right, so I had a very quick run through on this bike. But obviously that's the speed. I'm not breaking the speed limit, officer. 83, I think that's the charge. 83%, I'm assuming. 47 miles remaining, so that's pretty decent if you're just putting around town on one of these things. Because let's be honest. Oh, what is that noise? Is that this? That indicator's a bit mad, isn't it? Let's be honest, this isn't going to be the bike you use if you are going a long distance, is it? This is Alec giving me the baby starter bike. Just so I don't kill myself straight away. Right, I think I'm going this way.
This little scooter was a great laugh, much more fun than I expected it to be, but as I had a busy schedule and a lot of other bikes to ride and film, I dialed up the pace and, for some reason, now thought I was riding this scooter in a Moto GP race.
Valentino Rossi is getting that knee out, around the corner.
I didn't get my knee down, obviously, but did make it back to English Electric in one piece.
I mean, do you know what? It's quite pokey. It's a scooter, but it's quite pokey. There we go, the directions were good. Keep turning left and you end up back where you want to be. There we go, back in one piece. I'm assuming I jump straight on them now, do I? Well, I genuinely don't know how to turn this off. Should I just pull the key out? That's not turned it off. Right, I need some help. Okay, so now I've earned my stripes. I've been upgraded from scooter to
L plates. Yep, they've given me L plates.
okay, second bike then. So I've been given this, a Super Soco TK Max. I had to check the name because I forgot. I'm not very good at retaining statistics, but what Alec has said to me is this is essentially the equivalent of a 125. So I've ridden a scooter, now I'm on a 125. Let's see what this one's like. Let's figure out what we're doing. Apparently I pop the seat. There's the engine, 1x battery. Put on the master switch. That should now be on. Set the alarm off. There we go. Right, keyless ignition, so that can go in my pocket. Apparently you turn it on, all this boots up. It's telling me it has 68% battery, 59 miles range. Side stand up. I have front brake, rear brake, normal switches. That's the start button. These are the it says shift, but apparently the rider modes. He's just said put it in 3. Okay, and then when I press this button, ready. There you go, that's it. Let's give it a go. Ooh, and they're off. This is Ollie doing his CBT on his little electric bike. This bike is tiny. This bike is tiny. I just went for the clutch there again. Stop going for the clutch, Ollie. There isn't a clutch. Okay, and they're off.
The Super Soco TC Max, not TK Max as I stupidly said earlier, was a lovely little bike to ride. So far I was enjoying myself in this electric world, and I was still also excited about the sound of the indicators, apparently.
It's got a clicker! It's got a clicker! Come on, national speed limit now, people. Let's pop a wheelie. No. What I have noticed, I'm going slowly so you can hear me, and Alec warned me about this, when you stop, the bike's still on, even though it's silent. So it'd be very easy to accidentally twist that throttle, and although this is a very tiny bike, you still have a bit of a bad day if you wasn't expecting it. Two down. What I want you to remember here while I'm parking up my little bike, how to turn it off. Off? I don't. There you go, off. Is oh no. Wait, it turns out you can't do that. You've got to leave it on. Leave it on. What you've got to remember is this isn't meant to be a bike review video. I'm not reviewing these bikes because I haven't got time. This is just meant to be a Are Electric Bikes Any Good video. And so far, I'm actually having quite a lot of fun. Looking forward to getting on the big bikes though. Come on, I'm a big boy. I'm a big boy on this, mum. Give me some big bikes. That'd be nice as a little first bike, or nipping up to Loomis to have a coffee bike. Lovely. So, like I said, this day isn't about bike reviews, because if you're going to do a proper bike review, you'd spend a whole day with one of these bikes and go through all the minutiae and talk about all the details and engine stuff and blah blah blah. But all I'm doing today is getting a impression for myself and hopefully for you watching of what this electric world is all about. So what have I done so far? As you've seen, I've had a go on the scooter, the little scooter down here. I then got upgraded to my L plates, so just there. On the Super Soco TC, remember the names, Ollie, remember the names, TC Max. This TC Max, I'm still figuring this out in my own head, but in old money, in my sort of day of riding, when you did your CBT, you could ride a 125. In electric terms, you're allowed to ride an 11 kilowatt bike. But 11 kilowatts, and I'm not an electrician, I don't fully understand this world, but 11 kilowatts is the power output, if you like, but the actual battery size can be different as long as that's the power output. The reason I'm telling you that is because I've now been told the next bikes I should take out is the Zero range. So Zero do a load of different bikes. Let me spin the camera and I'll show you. All of these bikes are Zero. I'm going to take out this one and I think it's this one, whichever one the key's in. I think it's that one. Now, Alec has told me that this bike just here, which, and I can't remember, there's so many names, which is the Zero FXE. It's essentially like a little super moto. Sorry that the film work here is not the best, but I am walking around. It's still an 11 kilowatt battery, so it's still CBT 125. However, the battery in it is a 7.2 kilowatt hour. So that's the capacitance of the battery. Essentially means it can hold more charge. The higher the number, in very simple terms I've been told, the more the range, and also maybe slightly more top end power, but I don't want to get into the detail because one of you will call me out for it because I don't know what I'm talking about. Alex said this is his favourite bike. I've got brand new tyres. I've been told to take it steady because it's, although it's the same as the Super Soco I've just taken, it's a little bit more aggressive. And then from there, we're going to jump on the DS, which is dual sport, and take that out. And that one has a 14.4 kilowatt hour battery, so quite a big battery. And if I turn the camera around, you can see the difference. 7.2, not much battery. 14.4, bigger battery. Let's keep going.
So I hope this is painting the correct impression that this is all brand new to me. I haven't done a load of research. I don't know the names. I wanted to turn up fresh and see how I got on with these bikes. So you are getting my natural reaction to everything. But let's give this one a go. Here we go. Yeah, I just went for there's no clutch. I just went for the clutch. This one's got a normal brake, normal rear brake, no clutch. Key on. This should come on. 71% charge. It's currently in eco mode. If I click this, that's it. It's on. Let's go for a spin. And they're off. Let's see what this baby is made of. So there's this cone here that I was going to put the GoPro on for the next shot you're going to see. I'm spoiling the illusion a bit here. The reason the cone's there is because there's a massive hole just there. And I just fell down it. I eventually made it out of the hole that I assume goes to Wonderland and onto the open road. Now I had a few extra kilowatt hours, I could even overtake people. All perfectly legal, officer. This is, like I said, 11 kilowatt, CBT 125. This has so much more power or torque than I remember my 125s having. I mean, just watch this. Naught, sport mode, stand still, let's go. I mean, it would have kept going, but I don't want to break the speed limit too many times in this video. But this is a ridiculous amount of torque, a ridiculous amount of available power and speed for a bike that's available for CBTs. I cannot wait to get on the bigger bikes. Lap 3 complete and time to hot swap myself onto another Zero, the DS, with a slightly larger 14.4 kilowatt hour battery. Ta-da! There's my next victim. Whoa. So this is the fourth bike I've ridden today. And do you know what I've noticed very, very quickly is that you very quickly forget about engine noise. And I don't want you to judge me for that. I still love a lot of engine noise. The sound of those V10 F1 cars screaming up the circuit, yes please, or V12, whatever they were. But I've quickly got used to these bikes not making a lot of noise. And this is just great fun. Well, I'm gonna go this way.
Okay, I've been given some more keys. We are moving up. So I've been in the CBT level, which I think is A1 license, maybe. Feel free to correct me. I've been told now I'm in the A2 license category. So for those of us who are old school, it didn't matter, you just rode a bike. But obviously in newish money, if you do your bike direct access thing from age 19 up to I think it's 24, you're allowed up to, is it 47 horsepower? I don't know. Again, feel free to correct me. But essentially 47 horsepower A2 is this bike. here, which is, do some camera work, Ollie. It's a Zero FX. Now, I've just been riding the Zero FXE. The FX is roughly the same chassis, I've been told, maybe a little bit more suspension travel, I think they said. It's still a 7.2 kilowatt hour battery, but they've told me it's unrestricted, which is why it puts it up into the next category. More power, more power.
I'm going to be honest here and say that I couldn't really tell the difference between this bike and the restricted FXE, that it was a bit more off-roady, so after definitely sticking to the speed limit, Your Honour, I thought it only fair to take a shortcut across the dirt.
There you go, viewers. Have a different shot. There's a little shot that you've seen earlier, but I am on a different bike. Go on then. Nailed it!
After that exquisite film work, I decided it was time to head back to find Alec and ask how these electric bikes actually work.
Basically, the idea behind this wall was for people to just get the basics behind an electric motorcycle, or anything electric, any electric vehicle really, if I'm honest. But very simply, I kind of in my head thinking, well, really it's 3 core components, which is your battery, your controller, and your motor. And I remember seeing a diagram once on them drawing parallels against a combustion bike, just to kind of simplify it right down. Very simply saying fuel tank, carburetor, engine. That's it. That pulls fuel from here to deliver to that. There's other bits in between, like there is between, you know, on a combustion. There's hundreds of moving components in a combustion engine. You know, you've got, albeit a smaller number of additional components, like a contactor, which is just a fancy switch to cut the power on and off from the high voltage. You've got BMS, which is a battery management system, which basically is the brains of the battery to look after it so it doesn't go into thermal runaway, whether it's being overcharged, over-discharged, whatever. You've got the MBB, which is the ECU, which is the brains of the whole bike, which ties everything in together. A throttle, a dash, a charger, which charges the battery, and then most bikes will have a DC-DC converter, and what that does is take the high voltage from this and pump out low voltage, which on all the bikes you have, almost all the bikes, you have a 12 volt system, so your dash, your indicator, so the likes of average Joe can be comfortable changing the basics or customizing without fear of hurting themselves. So yes, I mean, you can overcomplicate it with these other bits in there, but still fairly simple, but the basics are fuel source, the fuel controller, and then your source of motion, you know, so your engine. That's that.
So what we're going to do before I'm allowed to take the, oh, it's very bright out here, before I'm allowed to take the big bikes out for I'm trusted, I've come out of A2 licence, stepping up. Alec's going to talk us through charging, because we're about to go into Energicas, and apparently it's a little bit different. So over to you. Over.
Sweet. Wait, what do I do without the key? Hang on. Oh, there we go. We've got keys. That's right.
You're as bad as me.
Yeah, we're all right. So we are going to get you onto the Zeros next, which is the next kind of big step up from the older Zeros. And so you're jumping on stuff from more like a 450. Maybe 600-ish up to more like an 800cc equivalent, and then we can bump up to the Energicas. But it's a good opportunity to talk about the differences in charging. The 2 bikes or 2 brands that feature fast charging, apart from the Harley Livewire, which have you tried the Harley Livewire? No. So the inherent differences between the Zeros and the Energicas: the Zeros have gone down the AC route of charging, which is more prevalent in terms of its availability, because obviously the whole grid is AC already. So these wall boxes you can see up here, you can get these for the home, just a smaller version, and with most bikes you buy you get some kind of subsidy towards the purchase of a home charging wall box. You can just plug them off a 3-pin socket, but there'll be limited capacity, limited output, sorry. There are limitations behind the AC, other than the fact it's more prevalent in terms of charge points, but in terms of just how fast we can charge. The Zeros are restricted to a 12 kilowatt worth of charge, and that's when you kit them out with what we call an additional charge tank. So they have like a base level of charging, and then you add in additional charging at extra cost. But that means that we can charge something like the bike you're going to try, like the SRF and SRS, we can charge that up in somewhere about an hour and a half, something like that, hour to hour and a half. That's full. Yeah, so that's the AC side of things. Now the other option is, which is the route that everybody else seems to be headed down, and certainly the car world, is what they call DC charging. What that means is that we can basically feed the battery directly with DC current. To feed the bike with DC current from an AC charge point, we have to convert it to DC. and that's done on board, but that means you've got to have a whacking great big charger. And that's the limitation. With DC, we don't need, because we're already DC, right? Yeah. So as long as we convert it at point of source, a DC charger, all we do is go for a charge controller, which is a little box like that, and it goes straight in the battery. The only limitation is what the manufacturer will allow the battery to be charged up at. And as an example, this bike, which is Energica, they will allow DC charging up to 25 kilowatts, so double what Zero will. It has a bigger battery as well, so the Zeros are now 15.6 kilowatts. You can get them up to about 17 and a bit kilowatt hour, that's a capacity. These are about 21 and a half. But with the DC charging, we can charge from 20% to 80% in about 20 minutes, 20-30 minutes. In terms of being able to just stop, plug in, 20-30 minutes, away you're going in. That's the closest thing you get to filling up basically at the moment.
80%. How far will that get me? What's
I mean,
range
range on the newest SRFs, because you can unlock capacity, and then I'll go through that when you actually ride the bike. But with the newest SRFs, with all is capacity unlocked, and the Energicas, which are already, you kind of get what you pay for, 1% a mile, 100 miles. That's real well riding. So we've got customers that will quite regularly get 120, maybe even more than that miles. We've got customers who ride pretty fast and they'll get more like 70. The issue with DC AC charging concerning the charge points is that that's about 10 grand to install, and that's about £800 to install. Well, maybe actually that's a bigger unit. At home it will cost you like 600 quid to get a smaller wall box. To get that's the smallest DC charger they do is 10 grand. And that's purely because at point of source, that's DC, it's converting from AC to DC in that, whereas we're drawing straight from AC from that, and we have to convert it on board.
Yeah.
This is your port for the AC on a Zero. Just plug it in there, and away you go. Zeros, that's all they have, and then I'll show you on this one. There's the Type 2, same as what's on there. Yep. Yeah, and then this one is the DC.
There's the DC.
And they call this whole plug, they call it CCS, and that stands for Combined Charging System, and that is standardised, like the Type 2 is for AC. CCS is standardised DC charging. We get asked a lot, can I charge up the same places you charge the cars? Yeah, no problem. You can go wherever the cars go to charge, as long as they've got that compatibility. Yeah, I think that's about it.
What's next then, mate? We've talked about charging, we've talked about how electric bikes worked, we've played with some little bikes.
Right, you've got some big boys now.
Let's go with the big boys. Do you trust me on the big boys now?
No.
He knows me too well, I've only been here a couple of hours. There it is. This is the bike I'm going to take, the Zero SRS, which is, so I've been told, Zero's flagship model. I'm just going to turn that off before I waste my battery. So this is essentially a 120 or maybe 140 horsepower bike, equivalent of 800cc. It's direct belt drive, so there's no gearbox or anything. The power comes straight off the engine, straight into a belt, straight to the back wheel, so it's got a fair bit of whack. I mean, it is fully tricked up. There's all sorts of different modes. If you want the top of the range Zero, this is what you get. One thing he did tell me about that, which I found pretty interesting, is this thing here. It's called Cypher X. What Zero have tried to do is become sort of a software provider, if you like. So you buy this bike, and a lot of these bikes do this. You can access things on your bike from your phone, a bit like Tesla cars, like you can get on your phone and do bits. But with that Cypher Plus, I think you called it, Cypher Plus, let's say you buy the base model bike and it's 15.6 kilowatt hours. I have to think every time I say that. And you buy the base bike, you've got enough money to buy the base bike, so you grab that and you take it home with you. That's basically your standard, let's call it level 1 bike. What you can then do when you save up a few pogs is you can go on your phone and you can unlock parts of your bike. One thing you can unlock, that 15.6 plus, which is why I pointed it out, you can take it up to 17 kilowatt hour by unlocking it, by paying for it. I think you said £1,700 maybe, I don't know, don't quote me. By paying for it and unlocking it. And there's loads of different things you can do with the bike. You can unlock bits and bobs of the bike as you go along, which, I mean, if you're a bit of a tech geek, is cool. And actually I think it is a good idea to, if you're desperate to get a bike but you've only got a certain budget, you can grab one, and then when you save up you can then add a bit on and add a bit on, and instead of having to save all the way up. So yeah, I mean, I think it's quite cool. I don't know how practical it is because I don't know all the things you can unlock, but just from hearing Alec talk about it, it sounded quite interesting. But anyway, he told me lots about this bike. He's just said to me, mate, take it for a spin, be careful, it's got loads of power, it's got full traction control, or variable traction control, but it's quite dialed up for this demo bike. But let's kit up. I'm in completely the wrong gear, I'm still in all my off-road gear, and I've not gone off-road yet, and let's go for a spin. Right, be careful with this bike, Ollie, it's expensive. So
Let's turn it on. What have we got? So we've got, at the moment it's telling me kill switch, canyon mode, which I think means like twisties. So he said if I push this in, that should start flashing. Let's put it onto eco to start. Eco mode, we're good to go. The heat grips are on, I don't know how to turn them off, so I'm gonna get warm hands. Is there a button anywhere? Not an obvious one. But yeah, it's got cruise control, that's fancy. Let's give it a go. Oh, be careful, Ollie, it's expensive. All these heated grips are nice. Go on then.
Yeah, I'm going to be steady on this. I sort of need my levers and knee sliders on for this one.
Yeah, dirt gear wasn't really appropriate for this bike, but cut me a bit of slack. I wasn't expecting to be riding these bikes on this visit. I'd finally made it to the big bikes and I could tell that this Zero SRS just wanted to go. So of course I obliged whenever I got the opportunity. Okay, I'm sure you're getting bored of seeing me walking in and out, but there's lots of bikes to choose from. I'm going on this, the Energica Ribelle Tricolor. So this is the daddy apparently. This one is, what's that? 21.5 kilowatt kilowatt hour, sorry. I keep getting that wrong. Nathan has very kind of just given me a walk around this bike and he's told me if that's an 800, this is a litre sports bike with about 170 brake horsepower. Let's go and see in my dirt gear what this is like. And I mean, it's sexy, isn't it? Look at it. You can probably guess where where they're made, even if we weren't told earlier today. Oh, there you go. Proudly made in Italy. What have we got? If I click that, pull front brake to enable the bike. Go. Right, so that's on. Oh, listen to that. 4 mile an hour and it sounds noisy. Probably the most expensive electric bike you can buy. And they've given it to this clown. This Energica was bloody lovely. And although a fully electric bike, it absolutely howled when you wound up the throttle. Lovely stuff.
So much fun.
Okay, I've stopped just to say this bike is crazy quick. I won't tell you how fast it goes because I'll get arrested. It goes 60 miles an hour really well. I like. Okay, it's been a long day. I've finished with the road bikes. I'll summarise those at the end because I'm running out of time to ride. And now I've been given a dirt bike. This thing, it's Surron, they call it. Surron. And just over there is a massive dirt track that I'm allowed to just go and play on. So let's sling a helmet on and go and play in the dirt. I've been dressed for the dirt all day. Now let's finally go and play in the dirt. I mean, what a day. This has been excellent. And after a long day riding awesome bikes, it was finally time to go and play in the dirt.
That was a hoot. Right, I mean it's 6:30. I've been here since 9. I think it's probably time that I left this awesome bunch of people in peace. Go and collect my camera gear from that dirt track, and let's summarise what I think about electric bikes then. Okay, let's summarise my day at the English Electric Motor Co. Now, as you can tell, I'm not filming this on the day, it's a couple of weeks later. I did try and film it while I was there, but it turns out I was knackered after a long day and I'd forgotten how to speak, so we're doing it now. But on the plus side, Alec, look, I've got branding everywhere. There's English Electric logos everywhere. All is bomb. Now, the reason that I got in touch with English Electric was just because I wanted to experience electric motorcycles for myself. You know, there's a lot of chat online about them, but I wanted to go down and have a go because I firmly believe that it's the future of the biking industry. I mean, just look at the car world. There's electric cars everywhere nowadays, and surely we're going to follow suit. And I think if you're a rider who thinks you're going to be on a combustion bike forever, you're a little bit head in the sand. Embrace it, people. It's probably going to be the future. Now, this video has been long enough already, so I don't want to drag this summary bit on, but there's just a couple of points I want to talk about. One will be the riding experience, 2 will be where I think electric motorcycles work at the moment, and then 3, we're going to talk about a few of the issues, if we can call them that. I did do another interview with Alec. He's a very rounded person. He did talk about some of the issues, but like I said, this video has been quite long, so I'm just going to summarise that bit. But let's start with the riding experience. So riding these bikes then, for me, on the whole, was very positive. The little bikes were cool, the big bikes were rapid, that dirt bike was a lot of fun. They're really easy to ride, like Alex said, they just twist and go, so it makes it nice and easy. And also, they come with all the gadgets that you could ever need, and I'm a bit of a gadget geek, so I enjoyed playing around with all the modes. They've got all the mod cons, well, the big bikes have, that you'd expect nowadays, so you know, like variable traction control, ABS, different rider modes, heated grips, cruise control, etc, etc. I enjoyed all the gadgets, they're cool little bikes. As I said at the time, I quickly forgot about the noise of these bikes, which is a positive thing. Forget about engine noise, because I was just getting involved in the riding experience. However, subsequently, I've been on my KTM and on my track bike, and I've remembered, if I can say that, I've remembered just how much I enjoy the sound of these motorcycles and how much I enjoy working a bike, and by that I mean like going up the gearbox, thinking about what gears you're going to need to be in. I have remembered now how much I love that, but my point is, whilst I was on these electric bikes, I forgot about all that stuff. So, you know, that must be a positive thing because I was just enjoying riding these motorcycles. Point 2 then, where do I think these bikes work? Well, for me personally, I'd happily have one as a dirt bike for green laning locally. I'd happily have one if I had a short commute. I'd happily have one if I worked in a city and I was nipping around a city. You know, a lot of these bikes you can hot swap batteries, so I don't know, if you're a delivery driver, then that could work for you. And also I'd happily have one as a track bike, actually. Having just got back from Alton Park, I was thinking about it at the time, and having an electric bike on the track wouldn't really take away any of the experience for me. So, you know, there's a lot of different arenas where I can see electric bikes working right now at this very moment. But I suppose that takes me onto the issues. And as an adventure rider, and as I'm sure you've figured out for yourself, one thing that's sort of hampering, if I can say that, electric bikes at the moment is just the fact that you have to stop to charge. Now, I've done adventures myself where I've just been riding until the fuel light comes on, throwing some fuel into the bike and riding until the fuel light comes on. Now, I don't recommend that as a form of adventure. I only do that if I need to get somewhere quickly. But with an electric bike, that stopping to put fuel in has to be 30 to 45 minutes. Now, when I was chatting to Alec, he did say he's got a lot of customers who go on these big adventures, and actually they found that having to stop to charge your bike means that you start interacting with people and you get new experiences, and it sort of adds to the adventure. Now, I'm a big believer that on my adventures, you know, a lot of the enjoyment comes from the interactions with people. The actual riding bit isn't necessarily the most enjoyable bit. So who knows? I've not been on an adventure on an electric bike yet, but who knows, maybe actually this will just change our vision of adventure and adventure riding, and it could be more positive. I don't know, I've not done it yet. Now, that's all I'm going to cover really. I know I've not gone too much into environmental impact because I'm not Greta Thunberg, and I've not talked about, you know, how batteries are sourced and all the other stuff that comes with electric bikes, and that's been intentional. I just wanted to experience these bikes for myself. And I'm going to finish there. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do all the good YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, comment, you know, all of that stuff that lets me know you're actually paying attention and watching these videos. Hopefully you've made your own opinion-ish of electric bikes by now, but I'd still recommend you go and have a go. Like I said, I think it is the future, so you might as well get in there early and have a go. But I am going to leave this video with just one sort of final thoughts, if you like. Was it Jerry Springer used to do that? Jerry's final thoughts? I don't know. When I was chatting to Alec, he acknowledged that a lot of people won't buy these electric bikes at the moment because they say they're too expensive and there's not the infrastructure. But he was telling me it's a little bit chicken and egg. So instead of me telling you what he told me, I'm just going to let him finish this video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.
I mean, anybody who buys an electric motorcycle, whether that's an electric scooter or one of the, you know, off-road bikes or one of the 25 grand plus Energicas or Zeros or whatever, is still an early adopter, you know, and you pay a premium for that kind of privilege. So the more people that embrace it, the cheaper it should become, because it's almost like we're the guys that are we're a niche within a niche. You know, we're kind of at the forefront of this kind of cutting edge of where motorcycles is heading, which will follow in the footsteps of cars, because we always do, pretty much. And the sooner we embrace it in number, the quicker the tech will get to us that makes it far more viable for everybody, you know, concerning range and charge time, and bring the cost down as well. So it's kind of this weird situation where we got a lot of the time we do a demo, and that the guy or gal will be like, this is fantastic, this is amazing, this is unreal, completely not what I expected at all, totally sold on it. But if I just want to wait until it's cheaper, I just want to wait until there's a little bit more range, I just want to wait until it's just a one way. Okay, fair enough. But the thing is the longer everybody waits, the longer everybody will wait, because the sooner people embrace it and it not being quite right, the faster it will be quite right.
Ollie Moto.